Hey, did you see that Hawk Tuah girl?
Oh yeah.
She released her crypto.
Yep.
Yeah, man, it's crazy
Dude, crypto
stuff.
right now is
She-
nuts.
It is.
Bitcoin breaking 100K.
Yeah.
Do you have any Bitcoin?
With no, I don't. I stopped doing Bitcoin long ago. I'll tell you about it in a sec. But this Hawk Tuah girl, man, like she released her like a meme coin, and within minutes it hit $500 million, and then
Shit.
literally within minutes after that it crashed down to 20 million, and so many people lost a lot of money in that, a lot. And so
I believe that.
now there's that huge thing where, well, there's a lawyer somewhere in the States who's trying to get people that participated in it to do some sort of lawsuit, maybe class action lawsuit. Because like, man, for some reason to go up to 500 million, $500 million, right? To
Yeah,
put it into
seriously.
context, and then back to 20 million, it's like, dang, so crazy. But you know, that's kind of
Some crazy swings right there.
I think that's a crazy example of what happens in crypto. But
Those meme coins are always like that, though. They're super
yeah,
unpredictable.
they are. Yeah, but I think that's a representation generally of the way crypto works. Maybe not at those high levels, but everything's just so volatile, like just so ups and downs and unpredictable, and
Yep.
that's so I did it a few years back. I put 10 grand into just a few coins, and it did pretty good. Like sometimes when things are going up, we're doing great, but then things get unstable, and you know, I'm not a pro at that sort of stuff. I understand it a bit, especially coming from like stock market, share market, whatever people call it. And but it was like the most stressful experience I've ever had in any sort of type of business, investing, money making, like literally, because I was constantly there on the phone, like checking it all the time,
Just
and whereas
watching
back
it,
then,
it moved a
and
dollar.
and things will go down and things will go up, but there's such huge swings that in the end I had to pull out, and I lost probably about $3,000, just under that. It wasn't a lot, like it was just, you know,
That is to
It's
some
less-
people. It's
yeah,
still,
it's
I mean,
just-
it's an expensive lesson,
very expensive.
I suppose.
But I pulled out, and then I was like, and because I have my business too. During that time, I couldn't even focus on my business, because you go to business, create content, whatever, and you've got this thing, and it wasn't a lot of money, but
Just always
I don't-
looking at
you
the
don't-
charts.
yeah, but you don't want to lose $10,000, right? Regardless, but
Oh
in
yeah,
that time,
absolutely.
your head's going to, you're constantly in the back of your subconscious mind just thinking about the crypto, where is that, and literally, although I would say I lost those $3,000, I probably lost more in that process because I didn't make as many sales in my business because I couldn't be marketing because I was so focused. And then your head wants to go, it's almost like a shiny object syndrome, right? Where your head just wants to go to learn more about it. So I start learning about charts. I start reading the charts, learn a bit about that. Bought a couple of courses, got into like a mentorship program, and I'm like going through all the training. And I'd say I lost, a few $1,000s extra because of the work I didn't do in my business. And that's why I think it's that's common in crypto, right? But it's also
Absolutely.
that
Any type of
mentality.
day trading, you'll see that a lot with any type of trading. Like I did futures trading.
Yeah.
Kind of similar, where like I learned from this guy. It was actually somebody that I had as a client. I built a website for him. I redesigned his whole digital course where he was teaching people how to trade online.
Yeah.
But this dude was like, he was on the floor in Chicago, and like he was an actual day trader, and then he got into working for himself. He created a hedge fund, started training people. And he would just like wave these big things. Like I have this as like my motivation, my fake money stack
yes.
right here.
That's awesome.
So this dude would make like 50 grand in, I don't know, less than an hour. We'd trade like 9 to 10 every day and be done.
Yeah.
But he always traded oil. And when you're trading oil, it's like these tiny little moves can be huge amounts of money, where like a 10-cent jump in the price could be $100,
Yeah.
you know, or $1,000, depending on how many contracts you have. But that was the thing where he tried to teach everybody to do that. And it was so, I don't know if I can swear on this, but just so fucking stressful to be like watching the price on oil. And sometimes it would do, like there were certain days and times of days where it would jump a couple dollars at a time. And that's like, it jumps up in $2,000. You're done in 2 seconds. You know, like you either make it or you lose it. Yeah. If you picked it right, you win. If you don't, you lose. And I like went all in on it, did his training, bought other courses and everything. And I like blew up my first account. I put 10 grand in to trade with, lost all of it.
You did what I avoided.
Yep. I think I maybe got out with like 2 grand left in my account where I just like closed it. But it was one of those things where it's almost like a high of chasing dollars, you know, where you see how easy it is to make money sometimes or how hard it is. And it's, just not, I mean, obviously not a healthy headspace to be in if you're going to actually do that sustainably.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where I would be supposed to be working, and I would have like a chart open on another screen, and I keep glancing over at it like, am I going to hit the take profit? Is it going to drop? What's going to happen?
Oh my God. So it's funny how like this is also applicable to business as well, right? Because so many people come into an online business, and like for me, online business is just so much simpler for people to grow their business, to just make an income.
Absolutely.
You know, it's simpler. I mean, everyone works, right? You go to a job, you learn skills, you do that work, you earn a paycheck. Well, it's the same thing with a business. You go to a business, you learn some skills, you do your job in your business, and you know, if you do it consistently enough and continue to get better at, and you know, have the right information and mentorship, you can make money. Right. But there's always
no
going to be
real risk of loss.
not a huge risk of loss. But there's always going to be ups and downs, right? There's going to be times when things are going to get tough. You're going to get challenging. You're going to have to, you know, ask questions, figure things out. But it's not those huge highs. Whereas like with investing, it's almost, well, it doesn't have to be, but for a lot of people, it's like the lottery, right? The lottery, where it's just like or gambling, right? You're putting in a lot of money.
Oh yeah, exactly.
You're going to make some wins, or initially things are going to go up, but in the long run, you're going to lose way more than what you made. But then if people aren't smart enough, they're just going to keep going, thinking they're going to make a lot. They're going to lose it, but they never truly learned how to do that thing. We've discussed in the beginning of this conversation crypto, right? And maybe a lot of people were like, oh, you know, well, should I get into crypto and stuff? You know, I don't recommend crypto for someone that's getting started. Like, it is very, you know, stressful. But the thing is, a lot of people try to go into crypto and they'll spend $100, $500, right? And I'm going to get rich from that, right? Yeah. But the thing is, any sort of investing, whether it's crypto, property, right? You know, ETFs, whatever it is, you have to have money. You have to have cash. You have to have an income that, as that money's coming in, then as a secondary thing, you can start investing, right? Because for a lot of people, they have jobs, and you know, putting the whole, you know, things are changing in AI. You got to find yourself roles. You just figure out how to make more money, because most people, they're in a job and they're earning a paycheck, and they're not earning enough to live. Right. They're just surviving, not thriving. I've been there. I'm sure you've been there, right? But it's like, you got to figure out, how can you increase your income? I think that's a good question. If anyone asks themselves,
it's not going to be usually as fast and easy as you think or want it to be. You know, I want to piggyback on this kind of crypto thing you were saying, because I was just talking to my wife about this. Like Bitcoin, okay? Bitcoin, obviously, it just like rocketed up after the election. Lots of things happened in the last month or so where it's shot up pretty significantly. But it's really like, it's not as big as you think unless you have a lot of money in it. Right? So if you had, let's say, I don't know, you bought $1,000 when Bitcoin was back at like 25,000, which was a lot of like last year, 2023. It was right in that range, right? If it hits 100K now, you've tripled your money, maybe quadrupled it. You put $5,000 or $500 in, it turns into 1,500, maybe 2,000 in a year and a half. You're not going to be super rich from that, you know? If you had a lot of money in it, you put, let's say, 50 grand in, it could turn into 150 or 200. That's a little bit more significant. But who has $50,000 that are just going to leave sitting in Bitcoin and be not stressed out about it? Knowing that it could go up or down. Yeah. You're just going to sit there and not look at it for a year. Yeah. So I think that's a big misconception. A lot of people that are playing with these meme coins, like you were saying earlier, the Hawk Tuah coin or Doge or whatever, they'll jump a little bit, but the people that are doing that are taking huge risks usually in order to actually get rich with it. They'll put their entire life savings on it, which they could lose or double in the same time frame.
And that's the people that are gambling as well. Like,
it's 100% gambling. Yeah.
Not the people that are doing it wisely, because like that was a great example you gave. Like if you put $50,000 when Bitcoin was at $25,000 a coin, and some people are probably tuning out because of the maths here, but ignore the maths. But if you put $50,000, a few months ago, and now it's $200,000. Okay, that's great. That's a good win. It's not anyway, this isn't a crypto conversation, but there's a point we're going to come back to. But that's great, but it's not if that's all that person had, the $50,000. Like that's a huge risk that person will most likely lose it if they're not making the right decisions now to just sell all of it, at least, right?
Yeah.
But the people that will invest $50,000 to kind of have that result are the people that, to them, $50,000 is nothing, right? So, if let's use a more realistic, relatable example. If someone's earning, let's just say $30,000 a year, okay, that's whatever currency that is, Australia, US, it's not a huge number. Mm-hmm. If you're like, okay, I'm going to put $10 into Bitcoin, you could probably afford to lose $10. Could you afford to lose $10, Drew? I mean, you could probably afford to lose much more, but the average person, do you think they could afford to lose $10?
Most likely, yeah. Most people waste more than that in their daily lives anyway, buying stuff they don't need or paying for subscriptions they're not using.
And if it quadruples to $80, is that a good win for the average person? Could they take out?
Yeah, then you can like fill your gas tank that week.
Or maybe you could take your family out for a dinner, right?
A cheap dinner, maybe.
But
not in Connecticut. You can't go out with a family for $80.
Yeah. But if someone's earning $30,000, they probably couldn't go out for dinner. Maybe not even to McDonald's, right? As an example. So yeah, okay, it's extra, but that is the exact same thinking stretched to a much bigger scale, where if you're earning $30,000 and you're like, great, I'm going to take $50,000 out of my mortgage, put it into Bitcoin and just hope that I'm going to quadruple it, right? Yeah. That's a wrong strategy, and that's going to end up losing money. Whereas someone that...
Because it's gambling again. It's not predictable. It's not repeatable. You're gambling.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas the person that's doing it wisely invests $50,000, they've probably got, $5 million in the bank, which for them, $50,000 is nothing. It's like for the average person who's putting in $20. For him, it's like putting in 20, or her, it's like, it's putting in $20. It's a risk that they're willing to take. So this is like a warning in some ways. It's like for the people that are were looking at crypto and they're like, I think this is going to be my strategy to, creating income for my family, changing, creating a different life. There's actually a different reality to that where you got to put a lot more money into that game to make it work. And most people don't make it work because of that. Now, there is a small percentage, like 0.001% of people will get lucky, but most people are going to lose their money. So the strategy for anyone that actually wants to even if you do want to get into crypto and investing, my recommendation is always number one, create a cash cow, right? Build a cash cow, something that's going to bring in money and money and money to you consistently, that you can grow, that you have control over. And my recommendation is a business, especially online, right? That you can do from home. And business is not hard, right? I mean, Drew, you teach it, I teach it. Right? You just got to find, if you want to create your own product, which we don't even recommend for a beginner, but if you want to make money in business as creating your own product, you just got to find a problem in the marketplace. What problem do a lot of people have? And then you create a product that solves that problem, step 2. And then step 3, you figure out how to sell it to those people. And you can make a lot of money. All right. We teach
literally all it is. As an entrepreneur, you're a problem solver.
Exactly. Obviously that's, simplified too, but that's all it takes. And you have control of that. If there's a good problem out there, the product is great at solving that problem, and you know how to market the heck out of it and sell that thing, then you can make money, right? What's the other strategy we recommend for a beginner? Affiliate marketing, right? And how does that translate into affiliate marketing, Drew?
How does it translate? Well, you don't need your own products. First of all, that's the biggest thing with affiliate marketing. You're not creating any of your own products. You get to sell somebody else's product that's already been proven. They already tell you who it's for and what problem it solves. And you just have to be the middleman to get that offer in front of those correct people. And the sales happen by themselves.
Exactly.
That's really the easiest way to describe it. It's something that plays into our kind of, I guess, need to be social or to have companionship in our lives. We all love to recommend things. We recommend restaurants we've been to. We recommend movies that we've seen or TV shows for other people. And that's literally what affiliate marketing is built off of. It's built on the shoulders of recommend.
So it's the simplest way for people to get started. It's existed forever, since business ever existed. I use an example that if you go back 2,000 years ago, right? If you were the kid and your dad had his own business, most likely one of the jobs he would have or businesses would be a merchant. And then they would go, you said bye to your dad on his like horse and carriage, and he would go to, to another country in the Middle East or wherever, right? To go find
on his horse and carriage, probably the next town over, not another country.
No, but sometimes people
He's
will go
going to be gone for months or years.
But yes, it would happen. And then the kids wouldn't see him for 6 months, and then he'd come back, and he'd go to Egypt and come back to Greece or wherever it is, and the kids would be like, Dad's back, and they'd see all the, like, look at all the stuff I got at, like all the exotic, the silks and the
that was what was in my mind too, silks and spices, when you were saying that.
No, but that's exactly what happened, right? And all the new foods you've never tasted, and spices, and right, and then he'd be there, and then he'd had friends that'd be like, hey, let me, that's awesome. I love these spices. If I bring customers to you, will you give me a cut? Will you give me, some silver coins out of whatever the exactly. And it's always been the same concept from the beginning of time of business, right? And that's what we recommend to get started, because it's simple. You're just recommending products. You're just focusing on that one skill that you have to develop, which is the marketing side of things. You don't have to figure out who's the target audience, what product you have to create, spend months creating it. And going back to that point that I had, it's like you want to build a cash cow in the beginning, right? I know Bitcoin's exciting right now. It's 100,000. Who knows, by the time maybe we release this this episode, it might have crashed. Maybe it'll be higher. We don't know. But it always, you know, if that world is exciting, but if you don't have a cash cow that you can control, that you can make money and grow that income and get to 5,000, 10,000 a month, 20, 50,000, 100,000 a month, right? Whatever that is, it's like if you don't have that ability to that you can control to make an income, there's no point in investing, right? Because once you have that income, you'll get to the point where you've got the house that you want, you've got the car that you want, your kids maybe are in the school that you want to have them in. Maybe it's a private, school or whatever. You can pay your kids' college fees. And then you've got all this extra cash that you're like, well, what do I do with it now? Now you can start playing that game of investing, right? You can start investing in property, which is safer. You can invest it in index funds, which is safer than investing it into individual stocks. That would be my recommendation initially, but then you can have a little bit, maybe like 2% of your total investing, like money that you have from your business, into cryptos to start playing around and doing some of that gambling things. Mm-hmm. But if you don't have that cash cow yet, it doesn't make sense, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, instead of speculating and gambling and guessing with the market, trying to get rich, why not play into this age-old philosophy of helping people solve problems and build your income steadily so that you can take the guesswork out of it?
Totally. And yeah, it's all just willingness to learn something new and take action on that, right? And then later you can focus on all those things, which, by the way, most people that don't have that strategy of cash cow and invest into, have an investment portfolio, most people that just gamble in the investing thing, they're not going to succeed because they don't have that right strategy. Mm-hmm. Drew and I, we teamed up together recently to be able to launch a new mentorship program, right? And if you guys are watching, we just want to share a little bit about this. So we created a mentorship program to actually walk people through and mentor them to building, the business that they want, right? To being able to generate leads and commissions online fast with a really simple strategy.
I'm excited for this new opportunity too. Just after all of the experience that I've had with other businesses, there are so many just gaps and holes in their training and in their support. And I don't see that as, obviously it's not going to be in here. We're all of it, but like we're not trying to do what you were saying. We don't have this quick little training that we're just pumping hundreds of thousands of people through and trying to make money for ourselves. We actually want people who are serious about getting results. They're not gamblers. They're not dabblers. They're somebody that wants real support and real guidance and real structure to get them from where they are to where they want to be. It's really as simple as that. And we're doing it with conversation. We're really just everything so simplified. It's people science, basically, right? We are people. Everybody else, like all of your customers, are people. So if you don't understand how to talk to them and deal with them, you're going to leave money on the table. But simplification, no tech, just messaging, really all you need. If you can talk to people, you can do this with our support.
You said, like you mentioned that strategy of just pumping thousands of people through a course. So there is such, like, I love automation to a degree, but, at such huge scale, right? When people are just going through automation and stuff, for the company, it's great because they make millions of dollars. For the top affiliates, it's great because they're making, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. And usually, they've really learned skills and some complex skills as well, right? Like obviously the websites, funnels, email marketing, like there's a lot more to it to get to that. But then the people that are the real beginners, they tend to struggle because now they have to set up all these complicated stuff. And then they have to learn, like automated strategies. Because when you have automated strategies, now you have to figure out, do you create webinars to convert sales? Do you have to do Facebook or Instagram lives, right? Like there's all these additional complex stuff that has to go, that have to go through. But so for someone that's getting started, having a really simple system that doesn't involve all that complicated, tech, that literally you can have someone reach out to you and be like, hey, John, hey, Jenny, I want to learn about your product. Can you share more? And you give them information and they go, great, I want to buy this. Awesome. All it takes is one person to do that and you've made $500 commission, $1,000 commission, $2,000 commission, right? Only one person. But then with this whole automated thing, that relationship aspect of it gets lost for beginners because it can work at scale when you have thousands of people going through. But for the beginner, it mostly it's not going to work, right? Because they're focusing on thousands of people going through these things, but how they haven't even learned the relationship building aspect of it. So it's like when you eliminate, all that extra stuff and just come down to what's those basics to make that one sale. It simplifies things so much. And when you make your first sale, you can quickly make your second sale and your third sale and your fourth sale, right? And so on. I've had, coaching clients that, within 2 weeks of this strategy, they've made their first sale, right? Multiple times. It's just so powerful. If you do want to learn more now, we're open to sharing more. If just feel free to reach out to me, send me a DM on Facebook or Instagram. My handle is Alex Ford Live, or you can just type Alex Ford into either one of those platforms. If you know Drew, send him a DM.